The High Orcs roared with excitement, seeing them as nothing more than entertainment for their leader. Suddenly, the dungeon boss made his presence known, releasing a crushing magical aura that sent shivers down their spines. He declared that they were merely playthings for his amusement. The dungeon boss's gaze locked onto Jin-Woo, sensing something different about him. Ki-hoon, trying to take charge, ordered an assault, but the others were too frozen with fear to move. As he attempted to strike, he couldn't even get close to the boss. In an instant, he was effortlessly tossed around like a rag doll, further terrifying the rest of the group. Luckily, Jin-Woo stepped in just in time to save Ki-hoon. As he steadied him, Jin-Woo calmly asked for permission as the team leader to handle the High Orcs himself while holding back the other orcs. Jin-Woo summoned his shadow army, declaring his intent to defeat the dungeon boss. However, the boss merely snickered at the idea, seeing Jin-Woo as nothing more than a weakling unworthy of his concern. Outside the gate, Jin-Chul and the surveillance team arrived, closely monitoring Jin-Woo's movements. To his surprise, he discovered that Jin-Woo, once just a miner, was now inside the gate, acting as a porter. His actions left Jin-Chul puzzled. Adding to the mystery, he learned that Cha Hae-in was also searching for Jin-Woo. But then, a strong aura overcame them. He ordered to reassess the gate. Jin-Chul found out that the gate's magic level was close to S rank. He wasted no time and immediately contacted the Hunter's chairman. Inside the dungeon, Cha Hae-in with the miner tools decided to rush to find Ki-hoon after seeing the bodies of High Orcs. Jin-Woo activated Monarch's domain, boosting his shadow army's strength. The High Orcs charged in, but they were no match. The shadows tore through them with ease, slicing, shattering, and wiping them out in seconds. Jin-Woo himself joined the fight, cutting down every enemy in his path as he weaved through the battlefield with deadly precision. As Jin-Woo considered thinning out the enemy ranks to aid his army, the dungeon boss took matters into his own hands, burning both High Orcs and shadows alike. He launched a relentless assault on Jin-Woo, unleashing a barrage of attacks without giving him a moment to breathe. Even though Jin-Woo managed to resurrect his shadow army, his magic power was running low. But in a surprising twist, he turned the fallen High Orcs into his own soldiers. The dungeon boss froze in shock. Jin-Woo's ability was beyond anything he had seen. For a moment, he even questioned if Jin-Woo was their true master. Yet, conflicting thoughts echoed in his mind, an ominous command urging him to kill humans, leaving him utterly confused. Yet, he decided to still follow the command. Meanwhile, upon learning the severity of the situation, Choi Jong-in ordered all his hunters to mobilize. If things took a turn for the worse, he was even prepared to seek reinforcements from the White Tiger and Fiend guilds. Inside the dungeon, Iron and Igris clashed with the High Orcs, their movements precise and relentless. Each strike was swift and brutal, cutting down enemies without mercy. The other members attempted to join the fight, but the dungeon boss stopped them. Jin-Woo remained completely unaffected by the curse. Jin-Woo summoned his mage-type shadows, unleashing magic attack that shattered the dungeon boss's defense. Just then, Cha Hae-in arrived at the scene, only to be surprised at the sight of Jin-Woo's monstrous army. The furious dungeon boss launched a simultaneous assault on Jin-Woo, pouring his magic power into every strike. He wiped out both Jin-Woo's shadow soldiers and his own remaining men. As the dungeon boss boasted about his massive size, Jin-Woo wasted no time. He stabbed one of the boss's eyes without hesitation. He remarks that size means nothing, and mage is useless against an assassin. He uses his dagger, but inflicts not damage. Binding the boss proved more effective. Jin-Woo uses the chains, circling the dungeon boss, tightening with every pass, then bring the beast down. Jin-Chul arrived in the scene to help, but realizes that it was unnecessary. The dungeon boss put up a fight, trading heavy blows with Jin-Woo's shadow soldiers. But in the end, Iron brought him down with brute force. Jin-Woo extracted the boss and welcomed him into the shadow army. naming him Tusk for his massive fangs. Looking over his new squad, Jin-Woo realized these orcs were a big win. The others approached Jin-Woo, but the surveillance team requested for the event to be a secret. The hunters expressed their gratitude before Jin-Woo leaves. Cha Hae-in was embarrassed as one of the team members notices her pickaxe, but more importantly, was embarrassed of what might Jin-Woo thinks. Back at headquarters, Choi Jong-in was briefed on everything that transpired inside the dungeon, how Jin-Woo single-handedly turned the tide and defeated an A-rank dungeon on his own. As the reality sank in, he couldn't help but chuckle bitterly. After learning Jin-Woo's overwhelming power, his title of being the ultimate hunter now felt like a joke. In the morning, Jin-Woo meets Jin-Ho, while on the other hand, the media is gathering for the announcement of new S-rank hunter. Baek Yoon-ho and Choi Jong-in arrived, playfully arguing over which guild Jin-Woo should join. But reporters misread the scene, thinking they came for Lee Min-sung, the A-rank hunter and idol they mistakenly believed had reawakened, but strongly denying any interest in Lee Min-sung. Jin-Woo arrived to be re-evaluated, but puzzled by the presence of many people. Lee Min-sung kicked off a flashy press con, announcing he was there for a rank reassessment and would be working with Lim Tae-ju, master of the Fiend Guild. Meanwhile, Jin-Woo was about to enter the building when one of Min-sung's security guards blocked his way. Before things got ugly, Chairman Go appeared, personally inviting Jin-Woo inside and scolding Lee Min-sung for turning the assessment center into his own PR circus. Lee Min-sung tried to follow, but Jin-chul stopped him with a cold threat. Inside, Jin-Woo was asked to demonstrate his abilities. He casually summoned one shadow, but Chairman Go already had intel on his true power. With no choice, Jin-Woo revealed his entire shadow army, emanating a strong magical power. Moments later, he received his S-rank hunter ID. On his way out, Baek Yoon-ho and Choi Jong-in tried to recruit Jin-Woo, but he instantly declined. Before Choi could warn him, Jin-Woo opened the door and was hit with a wall of camera flashes. Just like that, his reawakening became national news. The two guildmasters offered to take Jin-Woo home, but he politely declined, then vanished in an instant, leaving Baek Yoon-ho stunned. Meanwhile, Jin-ho reported to his father that he failed to convince Jin-Woo to join their organization. Still, he stood his ground, firmly declaring that he'd stick with Jin-Woo on his journey. Jin-Woo dropped by the hunter auction to look for gear that could help with heat resistance, but the cloak and ring he liked were insanely expensive. The salesman quipped, "Break the glass and they're yours for free." Jin-Woo stepped up, gathering power only for the guy to panic and stop him, blurting out, "It was just a joke." Afterward, Jin-Woo had another salesman appraise his swords and was stunned when he learned they were worth hundreds of millions. Baek Yoon-ho was still racking his brain over how Jin-Woo became so powerful. Then it hit him. It might not be a simple reawakening. Jin-Woo had something far rarer, the ability to grow stronger over time. Back at home, Jaina scolded Jin-Woo for stirring up chaos thanks to him. She couldn't even leave the house without being swarmed by paparazzi. Just then, Jin-Ho showed up, and Jin-Woo quickly covered by saying they'd be gone for a week due to work-related matters. That night, Jin-Woo summoned his high orc guards, but noticed one was missing. Turns out, it was the one he'd smacked into the ceiling earlier. He assigned one guard to protect Jaina while he was away, and sent others to patrol the area. As they spread out into the night, a strange ant-like creature silently flew past the moon. Something ominous was coming. By morning, Jin-Ho, who had actually run away from home, drove Jin-Woo to Daesu Tower, the entrance to the demon castle. Back at home, Jin-Ho's parents were discussing his disappearance when suddenly his father collapsed. The findings revealed a shocking truth. Jin-Woo's father had the same eternal slumber condition as Jin-Woo's mother. It was the result of prolonged exposure to magic having no resistance. particularly from hunters and their family, their son Jin-Ho. Meanwhile, two hunters on patrol stumbled upon a strange sight, a winged ant the size of a human. On the 76th floor, Jin-Woo continued his conquest, now equipped with the robe of air and ring of water. Facing a powerful enemy, he handed the Spear of Avarice to Tusk. Curious to test its potential, Tusk unleashed a spell so powerful. When Jin-Woo opened his eyes, the enemy had been reduced to ashes. Jin-Woo divided his army into 6 groups, each tasked with defeating enemies and notifying him if an entry permit was found. Suddenly, he sensed that his teams were under attack. After easily dispatching Team A, the enemy wiped out Team B next. Based on Jin-Woo's analysis, the attacks seemed to target his teams based on their strength. His Ice Bear team was likely next, and he watched in grim silence as the enemy methodically took down his soldiers one by one. Jin-Woo sprang into action, effortlessly dodging and taking down the enemies one by one. Soon, only the leader remained, shaking with fear, realizing that he was no match for Jin-Woo's power. Jin-Woo clashed with the enemy in a fierce exchange of blows, but as the pressure mounted, she realized resistance was futile and ultimately surrendered to him. Jin-Woo, showing mercy, chose not to finish her off, but the moment he turned his back, she lunged blade aimed straight for the kill, but was stopped by one of Jin-Woo's shadow army. Panicking, she dropped her weapon and begged for forgiveness, promising to do anything just to be spared. Jin-Woo agreed, but with one condition: she must help him secure the floor entry permit. With her family in possession of the floor permit and her knowledge of where the other permits were, she agreed to help Jin-Woo. Ezel, eldest of the Radaru family, revealed they came from the demon realm and were teleported to the demon castle mid-war. They only received a command to protect the space, not kill humans. As Ezel spoke, a mysterious force interrupted, declaring the information undisclosable, and in an instant, she collapsed and unconscious. Meanwhile, over at Jeju Island, chaos reigned as the ants ran wild. Chairman Go reviewed the report: casualties mounting, destruction widespread. The winged ant showed power rivaling an A-rank hunter. With that, he authorized the 4th raid mission on Jeju Island. At Radaru Castle, Ezel's father was stunned. He could see Jin-Woo's shadow army. Realizing he stood no chance, he handed over the floor entry permit and agreed to let Ezel accompany Jin-Woo as his guide. After securing the 90th floor entry permit, Jin-Woo told Ezel to return, but she refused. She was convinced he spared her because he liked her. Of course, Jin-Woo meant it casually, but Ezel clearly took it another way. As Ezel mentioned, the enemies grew stronger on the higher floors. Upon reaching the deserted 100th floor, Jin-Woo and Ezel were immediately met with an attack from Baron, the ruthless leader of the demons. Jin-Woo sensed Baron's deadly aura, and for a moment, doubt crept in, wondering if he could truly defeat such a powerful foe. Baron summoned numerous demon soldiers, trapping both Jin-Woo and Ezel. In response, Jin-Woo unleashed his shadow army, and a bloodlust-fueled battle erupted, the air thick with the clash of power. Tusk, empowered by the Spear of Avarice, incinerated most of the demon soldiers. Enraged, Baron retaliated with a massive lightning strike, nearly hitting Ezel and causing devastating damage to the shadow army. With his mana running low, Jin-Woo made his move, activating stealth and dash to strike at Baron's wings. But Baron sensed his presence, countering the surprise attack just in time. Tusk countered Baron's lightning with a fiery blast of his own, while Igris and Jin-Woo sliced down the wyvern midair, leaving Baron face-to-face with Jin-Woo. Chairman Go meets with Goto Ryuji and his translator, Hanakawa. Representing Japan, Goto proposes a joint assault with Korea for the Jeju raid. Japan plans to dispatch 10 of their 11 S-rank hunters, including Goto himself. Back in the heat of battle, Jin-Woo was cutting down enemy soldiers. Meanwhile, Baran, the Demon King, wasn't just watching, he was matching Jin-Woo's intensity. Jin-Woo gets caught in Baron's grip, but his shadow generals step in just in time to hold the Demon King. Enraged, Baran unleashes a terrifying burst of power. As if on cue, Baran finally gets serious, summoning a blade identical to Jin-Woo's. The clash begins, swords flashing, and each strike shaking the ground like a damn earthquake. It's a full-on boss battle, and neither of them is holding back. Jin-Woo's dagger gets tossed mid-air. Baran seizes the chance and corners him. But Ezel throws her spear just in time, distracting Baron. Jin-Woo retaliates with a clean slice to his arms, then follows up with a devastating uppercut that shatters Baran's head into pieces. Jin-Woo successfully defeats Baran and claims the final ingredient for the elixir of life, the Demon Soul. With Baran defeated, Jin-Woo and Ezel share a moment of relief, finally realizing they've won the brutal battle.
If you've enjoyed this so far, drop down below and show us some love by liking, subscribe and sharing. Next chapter will come out soon enough if not already, but for the meantime, check out our other videos on the screen. I highly recommend The Daily Life of the Immortal King. The link is in the comments section below. Thank you for watching until the end. Subscribe for more videos like this.